Hello, friends from Five Reasons. Welcome back to the pregame show presented by the Biscayne Bay Brew. Of course, you guys know him. And if you're going to the arena right now, if you're on your way to the arena, make sure you go ahead and taste some of the best beer right now in our market, brewed here in South Florida, and also presented by our friend Insurance by Lynette. You can call her. You know her. She's always here talking about the Miami Heat and also on Twitter, always responding to our tweets and all our analysis. So go ahead and check it out. Aggressive Insurance Agency, 954-581-8800, 954-581-8800. Our friend Insurance by Lynette. I'm sure Lynette will be here because this might be the last game of the season for the Miami Heat. So today with me are going to be Jonathan, Alfredo, our friend Anthony, and Brady. Ethan's right now caught up in traffic in South Florida. You guys know how it gets. He didn't remember that today people tend to go to the beach, so it's better if you go a little earlier. And I think he's going to be joining us here in a second. He's parking right now in American Airlines Arena. But let's go ahead and let's get it started. Brady, let's start with you. Anything new? Anybody out? Anybody in? What do you got?
Yeah, well, for the Heat, it's going to be looking the same. They're not really having any, changes in that area. The only differences we're going to see is with the Bucks. There was a report yesterday that Donte DiVincenzo is going to be no longer going to be with the Bucks for the rest of the playoffs after he got injured. So that's going to be, somebody inserted there. Looking back in April when DiVincenzo went out for a couple of games, what they did was they slotted Bryn Forbes in there, which is kind of what I'd expect them to do here as well. And that kind of leaves you with the bench thing. I think everybody has to play better. They haven't had anybody really play well in this series.
Right.
But if they're all clicking, which is hard to predict in this type of environment, but if they are, the bench is going to come up big because they're losing a scorer off the bench. But the thing is, it's the playoffs, and they kind of had the slang of being all hands on deck, that they might cut it down to an 8-man rotation even, or we've seen cutting it down to 7. So I don't know if they're going to slot a guy into that 9th man. So there's going to be changes on their side. They're going to have to try to adjust. If this is going in the direction that we think it is for the Bucks, they're going to have to try to find some things to move forward in the rest of their playoff run. But as for Miami, I expect probably Goran to stay in the starting lineup. The only other change, I think, if this struggles continue, I think we see more Bjelica a little bit earlier than we saw last game.
Anthony, let's welcome you here to the pregame show. You can follow Anthony at Twisted Tapioca. You've seen his comments coming up here in the pregame show. How do you feel about this game?
Wait, hold on. Anthony's never been on the pregame show?
I don't think so.
I've never been pregame. Post and 5 of the floor, but I don't think pregame.
Yeah.
Okay, so pregame show, grand opening, grand closing.
Grand opening, grand closing. Let's blow it out.
Well, you never know if it starts with him. Let's see what happens.
We have a new good luck charm.
Yeah, maybe. Let's check it out. I'll tell you what, Forbes makes me excited because they've been hiding him a lot on Andre going into those, like the third quarter. They're hiding Forbes a lot on Andre, which makes me think we're going to try to hide him on Trevor. And now all of a sudden we have some different matchup advantages that we might not have had in the past. And Donte is a very good perimeter defender for the Bucks. Like obviously Drew Holiday is their premier perimeter guy, but Dante's been very good out. I like that's a matchup I'm excited to see how Spo exploits, because we finally have what looks like an advantage on the floor.
How do you feel about it, Alfredo?
Well, this is one of those games where I think the front office has to watch, and see who actually is going to show up and actually put out an effort, because there's two ways that this can go, right? They could fight like hell and maybe force a game 5 in Milwaukee, or they could just fold up the tents. If they fold up the tents, you got to see who's actually just going through the motions. If they fold up the tents, I think that they can make decisions based on this. Like I said on Twitter, you don't want to make decisions, long-term decisions based on this series alone, but you can make some short-term decisions, mainly guys that are like on 1 years. On this game alone, you can do that. So you're just watching the effort, the adjustment. They had a great game plan for game 1. They didn't adjust for game 2. There's nothing really they can do anymore to change the series. It's just gonna have to come organically. So I'd be looking for the effort.
Jonathan, any adjustments that this team can make? I mean, what else? I think they've tried everything, right?
One thing that I saw in game 1 that worked a lot, that honestly we used all season, and then for some reason we stopped doing it. I have barely seen any Bam Duncan dribble handoffs. And Brady, you can
speak on it.
You know what I mean, Brady? You can correct me if I'm wrong because you pay a lot more attention to what the schemes of what's going on in the game. But I feel like game one, we started off within the first 4 minutes, Duncan having 12 points, hitting 3 of or 4 or 5 from deep, right? Going absolutely berserk in that first 5 minutes of the series, and then since those 5 minutes, I haven't seen Duncan Robinson on a dribble handoff with Bam again. And if you're gonna have Brook Lopez out there dropping under the rim, right, and then you have no chance of getting an offensive rebound anyways, why don't you run that more often? I don't see why we're not running that. If you're running it with Jimmy, right, it's not as effective because Jimmy's not the three-point threat that Duncan is. He's still going to have to drive to the paint or at least drive to the mid-range to get that pull-up. But do it with Duncan more often. Get the floor spaced out, and then from there, that's going to start opening things up for Bam and Jimmy to get to the paint, put players in bad positioning so we can start at least drawing some fouls.
Right. We saw a comment here from Ariel, says hit in 7, you cowards. Ariel, you're the coward. You're not here. I don't know why. You should be coming on in here to talk a little bit about this game. So the guy that's behind Alfredo right now, Bam Adebayo. Brady, what can we do to make Adebayo be more effective going forward?
Yeah, at this point, I don't think there's really anything else other than making shots that he's given. He was a little bit more aggressive to start last game. They just weren't dropping. And to speak, Bam kicks into the adjustments thing, that Jonathan's talking about. I think a big reason we didn't see as much dribble handoffs is that Milwaukee's been very, very good at denying off the ball. I think they deserve a lot of credit for what they're doing there. And it's not even on only Duncan, it's on everybody. And it comes right back to Bam because that off-ball denial, Brooks is laying down under the rim basically, and Bam has all the opportunities. It just comes down to him because if he's taking advantage there, they're not going to be able to do as much denying. And I saw somebody mention that Forbes being on the floor kind of helps that in that area, and I think it does. They're going to attack dribble handoffs there with Forbes, whoever he's defending. But it does come down to Bam. There's no more predicting here. This is down 3-0. You're going to get what you're going to get. They're not changing the scheme at this point. They're going to run what they're going to run. It just comes down to if he makes the shots, there's going to be a good chance that they can compete at the end of the game. And if he's not, there's this could be a rerun of games 2 and 3.
Right. How do you? I mean, this team looks so beat in games 2 and 3 that it was. I mean, it's hard to actually think they're gonna win even one game in this series. But you have to feel like, man, at least get this one at home, and then if you lose in Milwaukee, that's fine. Just finish the season.
The fans deserve it.
Right?
Like the fans were there in game 3, just waiting for a moment to cheer for, and like we suffered through a pretty tough season. Like. The whole fan base deserves a win today at home. The shot, if you want anything to fall back on, we haven't been able to hit shots at all, in any of these games. So we have one opportunity to win, and it's just that nail that Kendrick pulls up at, that Bam pulls up at, that you have to hit that mid-range nail shot. You have to. If we're going to come out of this game, Tyler's got to shoot better. Bam has to hit that nail, and you just got to hope that. I think I tweeted today the shots will fall. Like my confidence is peaking. I'm excited for this one.
Are you excited for this one, Alfredo?
No.
Why not?
But I will say this. Spoelstra has to forget about, the scoreboard, forget about, oh my God, this guy's not playing well, so I'm just going to sit him.
Mm-hmm.
No, this one, like it was like last game, they were down almost 30. And he pulls Herro and then sits him for a long stretch. And I'm thinking, what's the use? Just leave him out there. Just maybe he can find his shot. Like this is one of those games. I'm not for punishing players when they're just getting beat. But in this game, just play them. Just play them long and play them long minutes and see if they can get anything out of this series. If they can learn anything for maybe next season and maybe the off season. Maybe they learn about what they have to do this offseason. We kind of know that Herro has to put on some weight. He has to get in the weight room. But, just play them long minutes. Find out who are your core guys. Who are the guys that you're going to count on in 2022 and 2023, and then play those guys. Play them. Like, who wants to see Belly out there for 28 minutes? Like, oh, you do?
Jonathan, would you start Belly instead of Ariza, who's had horrible games 2 and 3?
Shit, why not, right? Why not at this point? You saw what he did last game. At least he was out there. He was doing some crazy passes. He was hitting deep threes. I mean, he's going to give you more than Trevor Ariza does at this point, so why not? We're down on 3. We have nothing to lose.
I mean, yes.
Shout out to Christian Cardis,
yeah.
for the comment. The 199 dono. This organization allowed 17,000 fans CL MVP for Bjelica. Hey man, he was the MVP of last game. He's the only guy that brought the energy. It felt like so.
These fans deserve a win so bad. Like they deserve one win so bad.
Yeah, I know it's been a rough season, and it's been a even worse playoff series, because after that first game when they almost took that one, the first one that they should have. Now those two games.
Yeah, there's a commenter, Ben. He's really active, and he said this game isn't going to determine who the core guys are, but I will say this: this series can determine who the core guys won't be.
If you get swept and you lose 3 out of 4 games this way, that tells you something. You have to just get rid of.
You'll begin to learn. You'll begin to learn about this team a little bit, at least.
Yeah.
The only positive silver lining I could say that we could probably get out of this is probably it drops the value of Duncan and Nunn just a little bit, right? I would say more Nunn than Duncan, right? But if Nunn was somebody you wanted to retain, like something Adam Barai said, you want to retain these guys and keep them as assets. Now Nunn, instead of being worth $15 million, you probably get him at $12 million, $13 million, because he's not producing in the playoffs, and that's a selling point as a business person. You'd be like, hey, you did great in the regular season, but playoff time, last year you didn't show up because you had COVID, etc. But this year, when you're playing against a drop defense, although we're, like Brady said, they're playing great off-ball defense, they're a great defensive team, you didn't bring it, and we needed scoring. So now we can use that as a negotiation piece to bring that price down for Kendrick Nunn.
And to that point, I put out the stat: 102 open threes in the series, and they made 32 of them. That's an issue. As much as we credit Milwaukee's defense, they're not hitting the shots. The thing is about these open shots that they're missing is that they're the shots that they haven't had. These aren't the shots they shot all season. They're shooting shots that they're being given. That's the way that they're going against this. They adjusted into switching, and they're still playing the drop. That they have the shots, and they're just missing them. But it's just that easy to say. It's just that clear. 32 makes out of 102 open threes. That can't happen in a playoff series. And when your 2 mid-season acquisitions, and Dedmon and Bjelica, are your 2 best players in the series, I don't think it's going to lead to good things.
Last night I was watching Atlanta and the Knicks, and I'm a huge Bogdanovic fan. That's a guy I wanted for the Heat, and then I saw the number he got from Atlanta. Duncan's not going to be cheap, folks.
Nope.
I looked at the number. I forgot it, man, but I could have swore it was something like $72 million for 3 years for Bogdanovic. So, Duncan's not going to be cheap, folks. So don't get scared when you hear the number.
You look at guys like Bertans and Joe Harris, you kind of know. I mean, like you said,
Bogdanovic. Bogdanovic, you got $72 million for 4 years.
Okay. All right, so it's a little under. It's 18-ish, 17-ish.
Yeah,
I would love
still
that
a lot
deal
of money,
Duncan.
though.
I would love that deal.
Yeah, me too. That sounds like a great number for me. The thing about Duncan is like, if it goes to crap, he's a great sign and trade guy. It really doesn't matter to me what the number for Duncan is. His value outperforms as an asset. His value outperforms whatever number you can tag to him.
Yeah, and if you look at the series, he's been one of the best players, because Dragic had great games 1 and 2, right? And other than that, who else?
Jimmy played good for a quarter and a half in game 4.
One good quarter.
And maybe Dedmon and Bjelica, but you're not counting on those guys.
Bam had a strong 2 minutes in game 3.
Yeah, that's how we're breaking the series down now. This good minute and a half stretch from these guys. Right?
Hey, Bam for 2 minutes in game 3 had like 3 points and 3 rebounds. If you extrapolate that per 36, he's the best player of all time.
Right. All right, now you're treating Bam like I treat Dedmon.
Or like UD. UD is averaging 55 points a game per 36.
All right. Well, let's finish this misery for today. What do you guys have? You have at least one win for the Heat tonight. Let's go with our picks for the day. And just to remind you guys, go ahead and visit PrizePicks.com. Use the promo code 5FIVE and get a 100% match on your deposit. That way you can play. You don't have to play the Heat win the game. You can play just, I don't know, Giannis getting more points at whatever the line is
more
at that
than 15
point.
Rebounds.
30 rebounds
Over.
today, and then that way you get your money. Yeah, over. So your picks for today, and I think let me see. We have Alana here. We have Ariel also in the comments, and I saw Adam. So you guys can also participate here since you are also part of the team. So let's go ahead and start with Brady.
Yeah, I picked the Heat to win in games 1, 2, and 3. That was all
You're
wrong.
not doing it anymore.
So maybe this will work if I pick the Bucks here. But honestly, I don't know how. I think it's going to come down to this first quarter. I think that's the easiest thing that we can all take away from this. How Miami's going to come out. I think they're acting as if it's not over. They're not going to surrender and they're going to come out. But that never translates into a game until you start off that way. So if it starts off similar in a way that the Bucks come out hot again, it's just I don't see them long term in a game for 48 minutes coming out with a win. But if they do somehow come out making their shots, I think there's a chance that they battle it out and come out the win. But I will say Bucks just because I picked the Heat in the first 3.
All right. Jonathan, let's go with you now.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. I picked the Heat all 3 first games. And I want to get to Alana's comment mentioning about the COVID thing, right? Because everybody talked about last year how, bubble frauds or stuff like that. This season is more illegitimate than last season. This season,
Jonathan?
Because you had to deal with COVID. You had a global pandemic, right? Travel
but all the teams went through it.
Correct, right? But all the teams had more equal opportunities last year in the bubble than they were this year. This year, it was stretched out through a long period of time, right? You had players going down because of the amount of load they had to carry, right? You look at guys like Murray from Denver, right? You look at a bunch of these guys got hurt. And then on top of that, players had to sit out because of COVID restrictions. And some teams, they hit more than it did other teams, right? Our team was one of the teams that was absolutely devastated, especially earlier in the season where we lost a lot of players. If we have 2 more games with Jimmy Butler, we're probably sitting at the 4th seed and we're looking at ourselves at a 3-0 lead over the Atlanta Hawks right now, right? So the COVID thing happened all season long, and it affected some teams more than other. The bubble equalized everything last year. Every team was on the same page. Every team had the same advantages and disadvantages. Every team had the same food, right? The only difference was how much closer were you to your teammates. And that's what the Heat proved last year. They were a close group. Everybody was playing together. So if there's an asterisk on any season, fuck the thing on last season, right? It's going to be this season that has the asterisk. Anybody who wins, it's going to be a COVID fraud. We're going to start that one. Everybody, it's a COVID fraud season.
Right. Yeah, I just think the Heat was just better last year than they are right now, but that's fine. Anthony, what do you feel? How do you feel about this game?
So I have just personally beat the worst flu I've ever had in my life. So my confidence is on 11 right now. Okay. Bam. I saw a report that Bam Adebayo was the first person in the building today besides 2 ball boys. He was in there practicing that nail shot. He was there. The 17 to 24 foot shot. He's there practicing it. It's going to land today. Shots are going to hit. The bucket's going to look like an ocean. All right. This is a Heat win tonight. It's for the culture. It's for the fan base. We need this. Past this, I don't know. But tonight, we need a win.
All right. Okay. And Alfredo, we're gonna close it out with you. So we're bringing the closer here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd be up 3-0 against Atlanta because Atlanta looked overwhelming last night. But it could be that they're just playing the Knicks. You know what I mean? But
yeah, fuck the Knicks.
This team has not shown. They have not shown any fight in the last 2 games. There's no evidence that they really want to extend this series.
Right.
So is Bam going to start facing up and hitting 12-foot jumpers over Brook Lopez? I don't know. Had they fought in game 3, had they fought hard, lost by 6, lost by 8, maybe made a comeback and put the game in doubt in the last 2 minutes, I'd be saying, yeah, there's no way they're losing game 4 and getting swept. But man, the evidence is just like it's overwhelming. That
you do kind of wish in game 3 they would have punched him in the mouth, right? That it would have got more physical than it did.
But it didn't. It just got softer and softer. And then I understand it's human nature. You look at the scoreboard and you're down 30. It's human nature to say, man, there's nothing I can do, man.
Right.
So I hate to say this, but and I'm one of those people that game 1 I said, you know what, this team's gonna win game 1, and then I say, you know what, they played close enough in game 1 that they're gonna win game 2 tight, and then I say, you know what, they're coming back home. And now that they come back home, they're going to win a close one. Right. So I'm not going to pick – I picked the Heat to win 3 close ones in a row, and they got killed in 2 of them. They lost 1 close one. I'm not going to do it again. I think they lose big.
They lose big today. So here's the thing. Last game, I mean, the first half sucked for the Miami Heat, but when you look at halftime, they were losing only by 13 points,
Yeah.
which is
Only.
crazy. Yeah.
Only
So,
13.
Comparatively to game two, though.
yeah. And if you look at it, Milwaukee has been struggling hitting shots also in 2 of the 3 games. So it's not like they've been playing their best basketball either. It's just the Miami Heat's been so low in their end that it's been easy for the
Hey, look, I'll tell
Bucks
you
to
one thing,
get
man.
home.
Milwaukee, I watched enough of Milwaukee, which is to say that I watched them play maybe 15 times this season in the regular season, which is a lot for another team that's not the Heat. They got that side pick and roll action that they could actually just murder you with it. With Giannis and Middleton, they haven't run it that much in this series. If they start running that and those shots start falling, good Lord, this thing could be over again in the first quarter.
You know what I want to see at least one time in this series? Goran Dragic attacking the basket, leaving the ball up, and Bam Adebayo slamming it. Please do it at least one time before this season is over. So I'm going to pick the Bucks as well. I think nobody here picked the Heat tonight, and hopefully that works. So we're going to have to continue doing this. And this
don't do that to me. I picked the Heat. I'll do this. I don't mind. I'll do this. I'll lone wolf it.
There you go.
That's
Welcome
fine. That's
to your
fine.
first pregame show.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us. Ariel was not, brave enough to get here. Thank you anyway for being here in the comments. I saw Alana over there here as well, and Adam was somewhere lingering around. So thank you to all of you that joined us for the pregame show. We're going to go ahead now and listen to some of the press conferences. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Brady, Jonathan, Alfredo. And we will be back for the post-game show, the post-up right after the game is over with some of the comments and whatever happens, we're going to be discussing it. Ethan is at the arena right now. He's parking. He's getting to his seat. So he's going to be tweeting out whatever is going on there at the arena. And now we're going to go ahead and listen to Eric Spoelstra, who talked about this game 4 of the series, about being 3-0, down 3-0, and what could happen in game 4.
Ahead of Kendrick, and what you were hoping to get out of it and what you got out of it.
The idea was a little bit more offensive organization. But the Bucks have done a very good job, obviously, of taking us out, of our normal comfort rhythm offense.
You spoke a little about this last night. Obviously, you said you needed more time to sort of think about it. Are there any specifics, without you telling us the specifics, that you feel that there are sort of A, B, and C that could change the series, not just for one game, but even extend it further? Are there things you found that you think, hey, you still might be able to unlock?
Well, we're just focused on tomorrow. And that's what today was about, preparing, for that. And, we fully understand we all have to be better. And it's not just on one side of the floor. This is a very dynamic, competitive, series that's requiring us to do, many things that'll have to be better.
And last question, what was just the mood like at today's practice? Thank you.
I'm not into, getting into the mood thermometer. We have great competitors in our locker room, and we're all disappointed about how the series has gone so far. But our competitors really want to, get after it tomorrow at 1:30.
Next, we go to Tim Reynolds.
Eric, obviously they've got a 2-time MVP in Giannis, and Chris Middleton's a world-class player. Holiday makes them better, and we can go down the line. But how good has Lopez been for them and the problems that he's created?
Yes, he fits very well into their system, and he's done it in a lot of different ways. I think he's been able to adapt to different roles in their system, and this role right now is a little bit of a hybrid of who he used to be to who he's also developed into. But his size and his ability to protect the basket, has been a very effective for them in this series.
And I know it's 48 minutes and they all count the same, but is it cliche or is it almost too simplistic to say that the start tomorrow, up to that first stoppage, the first time out, just how critical is getting something good going early?
Yeah, I think in a perfect world that would be great, but it's competition, so you have to deal with whatever comes our way. The most important thing is the competitiveness and the efficiency that the Bucks are playing at is going to require 48 minutes of great basketball, if not more, and we understand that.
Thanks.
Next, we go to Cooper Moorhead.
So, I mean, aside from the length that they've had inside, it seems like their ball pressure and ball denial is really kind of disrupting, like you said, the flow and the rhythm of the offense. I know it's easier said than done, but in theory, what is the counter to that kind of ball pressure?
The counters are, to cut and to move without the ball, to use that pressure, against them. But you nailed it. It's easier said than done. They do it well, and Lopez is usually back there to protect any kind of mistakes. We're capable of doing it better than we have, but that's not to discount at all. What Milwaukee's been able to do.
And then last night also, Jimmy obviously was able to make some shots, but still, even in that first quarter, a lot of it was in the in-between zone. Is there?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. They're not going to change unless our guys take and make some of those. But Jimmy has a lot of responsibilities for our team, as we all know. So it's not as simplistic as just that. He has to read the defense, score the ball, facilitate for us, play make for us. He has all of those responsibilities, and within the context of great competition. Jimmy always responds and finds a different way, to impact winning.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Barry Jackson.
Eric, I know it's hard to find minutes for all your veteran bigs, obviously, but did Nemanja give you anything to think about last night with regard to maybe playing time tomorrow?
Enough during the time that he's been with us that everybody is on the table. Everybody has to be, right? We're at that point. Whatever is necessary.
Thank you.
All right, Coach.
Hey, good morning.
And I hate saying
Right,
that.
let's go now with what he said today, right?
It's kind of my question. The NBA body clock isn't built for 130 tips, but in a game like this, is it kind of, in a weird way, can it almost be an advantage that you don't have to sit around and wait all day for this thing to come around?
Yeah, and we've had a few of these, right? In the last several weeks. I think our guys are used to it. Definitely coming off of a game like the other night. I don't think any of us wanted to wait around. We had a really good day yesterday, and our guys we all want to get back out there and be better.
And everybody who should be available, all systems go.
Yeah, it's all hands on deck.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Ira Winterman.
Eric, everyone's taking sort of a simplistic approach of the Bucks are giving Bam the mid-range shot, so he has to take the mid-range shot. But at what point does that come feeding into what they want you to do? And in other words, is there a sort of line there, just because there's going to be a ton of open mid-range shots for Bam, that it doesn't mean you take all of them? Which ones do you take?
Look, that's when you talked about schematics in a playoff series. These are deeper discussions than what we have time for right now. It's about getting who can get to your strength zones and who can take you out of your strength zones. We need to get to our strength zones more often, and Bam is a major part of our offense, obviously in a lot of different ways. And we haven't been able to get to our strength zones enough, clearly, particularly the last two games. But we're focused and committed on doing better. We're not conceding to anything or anyone. This is about competition, and sometimes it doesn't go your way, and we have an opportunity to respond again today. And I know our locker room. I know how our guys respond to adversity and when things are rough, and we're just looking forward to the 130 tip.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Eric Spoelstra, the Miami Heat coach, talking about this game 4 of the series, the first round of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Milwaukee Bucks are up 3-0 as we speak. So we have a lot of comments here, but we're going to go ahead now and listen to Budenholzer, the head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks, and then we'll be back with Miami Heat players and what they think about this game 4 that it's about to start in about a half an hour.
All right, questions for Coach. Jim Wazarski.
Hey, Mike. Have you settled on a starter for Dante this afternoon?
No, we'll let everybody know closer to tip.
During the year, when Drew and Giannis missed extended time, there were some different matchups. Whoever started, I guess, in those particular games. Does that, I guess, maybe philosophically change in the playoffs because you're not seeing different opponents? 8 days or the next 8 games, it's the same team. Do you anticipate maybe picking a guy and staying with that, or is it still kind of matchup dictated and feel dictated, I guess?
At this stage, you just do whatever it takes. So, each game is its own, I guess, problem to solve. And so, we just got to focus on today and, do everything we can to be our best. And I guess we'll deal with whatever, other decisions as we go forward at that time.
Eric Name.
So often when you guys had different lineups, it was kind of Dante filling the role, right? Like he was the glue, like, oh, okay, well, he'll play some point tonight or he'll defend that guy. How do you try to get someone else to kind of fill that role and kind of do that same thing without pressing too hard or trying to do too much?
Yeah, no, I think the key is the guys just got to be themselves. They got to play their minutes, do what they've done all year. I think there's always a big emphasis on the start of the game, which I understand makes sense, but the other 47 matter. They've played and mixed and played with lots of different combinations. So, I think everybody's just got to do what they've been doing all year. Guys may play a little bit more, so I think, it's obviously Dante's done a lot to kind of fill holes and do things. But now, it's other people's turn, and I think they'll be ready.
We've seen you kind of trim down the rotation to about 9 during these first 3 games. Is 8 a step too far? Like, how do you kind of feel about that? I know some coaches will go 7. Like, is there like a sweet spot there?
I think it's kind of what we said to start. I think at this stage, it's anything it takes. It's the playoffs. And so the good thing is I think we got a lot of good players. We got guys we can go to, guys we believe in and trust. And, so I think there's a few different directions we can go. But you got to find the right mix and just, keep your best players out there and, just find a way to win a game.
Eric Reed.
Thank you. Hey, Coach Bud, your offense has been so good in the series, but your defense even more impressive. Just wondering, in the 3 regular season games this year with Miami, Jimmy Butler didn't play in any of the 3. So I'm just wondering when you came up with the thought and the idea of that you were going to match Giannis up with Jimmy and just the whole evolution of that matchup actually taking place in this series and how impactful has that been in this series?
Yeah, I think, the good thing for Giannis is, throughout the course of the season, you're trying to prepare yourself for the playoffs. And he's guarded lots of different guys, including wings and the top wings in our league. And, a little bit of a preparation for whoever it is you may play in the playoffs and the different things that you may need. So I think it's been a, part of his growth, from year to year. And, so I think he's prepared, through the regular season for the playoffs, including whoever it is he may match up with. And then, I think, he and PJ Tucker and Chris and Drew and lots of guys have had their turns on Jimmy Butler. And Butler's such a good player. We can't relax for a second on him, first 3 games today. It takes a lot of discipline. Giannis and the whole group, has to continue that focus and the discipline. He's such a great player.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Thank you.
One more to Iro Winderman. Iro, you're still on.
Coach, I'm just curious. I know it was almost whimsical because the game was so lopsided, but when the fans started counting down Giannis's free throws and obviously got past 10, and obviously it's something I would think most road crowds are going to do going forward because, one, it's fun, and that's what crowds do. Is that a concern of yours when you were standing there and they got to 11 and they got to 12 and Ken Mauer is sort of looking at it, or the official is sort of looking at it? Is that a concern going forward in visiting arenas that's going to become a thing?
Not really. I think Giannis was 5 or 6 for 7, and I think he's shooting the free throw well. He's shooting the ball well. His confidence is at an all-time high. He's, I think it's kind of, all year there's been different things and people trying to, impact the game, which is what you expect on the road. You expect from a home crowd. So I think our confidence and Giannis is just in a good place. So, I think the fact that he's getting to the free throw line is always important to us. And, we still believe, he's just going to go there and make free throws. And those are easy points that, can really help a team and help a player.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, bud.
All right. That was Mike Budenholzer talking about this game 4 of the series, Miami Heat versus Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks lead 3-0 as we go into this 4th game at American Airlines Arena. Again, we're going to have Ethan Skolnick there, so you guys want to check at 5 Reasons, of course, as we usually do, following the Miami Heat closely. This is a starting lineup for tonight, the same one that they used during Game 3. Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and Trevor Ariza. Goran Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and Trevor Ariza. That's the starting 5 for the Miami Heat tonight, trying to extend this series to a 5th game that would be at Milwaukee next week. So let's go ahead now and listen to our friend Tyler Herro and what he had to say about what he expects for Game 4 against the Bucks. Tyler Herro,
the fans in Game 3, and how maybe tomorrow they can help you guys get off to a really good start in the beginning of the game.
It was amazing just to be able to, feel the atmosphere again of, the amazing fans we have here in Miami. But, it was just, great to see 17,000 people back in the stands and cheering us on. The atmosphere was amazing, and I'm looking forward to that again tomorrow. So
next we go to Cooper Moorhead.
Tyler, putting aside their the length that they've had in the paint, how much is both their ball pressure and then their ball denial really disrupting kind of the rhythm and the flow of what you guys are trying to do on offense? And what do you think you guys can still try and do to counter that?
Well, I think that their pressure and, how they're getting into our bodies, while we're on the offensive end has really, took us out of, our normal, actions that we run to generate looks that we want. They're really getting into us, pressuring the ball and just speeding us up and, just making us uncomfortable. And I think, we can really counter that just, really by slowing down and, just really taking our time and trying to work for the best shot, continue to move the ball, work both ends, both sides of the court on offense, get the ball to the other side and really make them defend us, for the full length of the possession. But again, just the way that they're pressuring us and stuff like that, we have to find ways to, have pressure releases and just get our guys spots that, they're comfortable with and they can knock down shots.
Because of the offense you guys run, I mean, this is not like a slow down one-on-one type of offense usually. How important is the timing of everything that's happening? Like if a guy's coming off a curl and they're pressuring the ball and the pass is half a second late, if the timing is disrupted on those actions, is that kind of what throws the whole possession off?
Yeah, I think allude back to the pressure that they're applying. It really just, like I said, it takes us out of the comfort and it's easy when there's, someone guarding you at the 3-point line with no pressure. You're able to, make plays and, make timely passes. But when there's someone there pressuring you, it kind of takes you out of your comfort zone, and that makes it hard on an offensive player to make the right reads and make shots time.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Barry Jackson.
Tyler, all the good points you just made about the Bucks defense. All that being said, as you guys watch the tape, do you still see open shots that you normally hit that you guys collectively haven't in this series, or have there not been that many of them, do you think?
There haven't been many, and then when there is, as a player, when you finally get an open shot, it's like you have to make it because it's your first open shot, and everyone's trying to get an open look, and it hasn't been easy. And that's credit to them. They're really doing a really good job of taking us out of our comfort zones, and it's been tough for us. But I think as we prepare for tomorrow, we can only just take it one game at a time, and our goal is still remains the same until this thing's fully over. So we're gonna still compete and prepare the same way as if we were up 3-0, getting ready for a game 7.
All right, Tyler, that's it. Thank you.
All right, that was Tyler Herro. Thank you to all of you that are joining us here for the pregame show in the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. The starting 5 for the Heat: Dragic, Butler, Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, and Toro Ariza. The same starting lineup that Eric Spoelstra used for game 3 of the series. Is going to be the one they used tonight for game 4. So let's continue listening to some of the Miami Heat players. Let's go ahead now and listen to Nemanja Bjelica, who was the MVP according to the fans.
Last night,
on
you got some second half minutes, and you were able to make an impact in those minutes, even though the score was kind of out of reach for a moment. Did you see anything there that you think you can bring in now an even greater impact to tomorrow's game 4?
Now we're in like a tough position, but we just need that one game to win, to feel better, and after that, we just need to fight. Like I said, it's hard to talk about a game when you were down 20 points, constantly. They were ready for us, especially after that last year in the bubble, how we beat them. So that they got some new addition, but still, we just need to stay ready, believe, and playing in front of our fans. We just need to win one game. We can't lose anything, so we just need to give every day 100%, trying to win that one, and hopefully it's gonna be better for us. We're gonna feel better.
It's been a bit of a struggle just to get for the team to get anything going to the rim for most of the series. Do you think your floor spacing can maybe unlock a little bit more opportunity for guys like Jimmy?
Yeah. I was aggressive last night, trying just to help the team, also to help myself. But I think spacing is a key especially for a guy like Jimmy and Bam. But we after that first game, they got a lot of confidence and they start to play more free. Last 2 games, they made crazy shots, almost each player of them. So we just need to play in our pace. I think we need to run more and to space the floor for Jimmy especially.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Next, we go to David Perez with Heat TV.
Hey, Nemanja. Obviously, big shooting last night. You mentioned this floor spacing. Do you feel like that's kind of gotten you into a rhythm to the point where it can add a new dynamic to the offense going into the next game, sort of bringing that over?
Yeah, definitely we need to change something, but just spacing the floor doesn't mean that I need to make every shot. I think it opens everything, especially for a player like Jimmy is. we're not worried about him. He's not making shots. He's like all-star. He has a lot of experience. We have the guys with a lot of experience in this team. We were just in a tough position after lost that winnable game first in Milwaukee. But it is what it is. We just have one. We just need to win one game, and we're gonna feel better after that. And then we're still gonna be down like 3-1, but then it's pressure on them to win, to close the series. So I think we are ready to win tomorrow. It's gonna be early game, and it's much easier to play in front of our fans. They were great last night, even if we lost. Big difference, but like I think that we were competing. We just didn't quit. Like it was just like a ugly game for us, and hopefully we're gonna make shots tomorrow. We're gonna open game better, and that's it.
Next, we go to Brady Huck.
Hey, Nemanja, you mentioned playing next to Jimmy for the spacing, but just how important is your playmaking aspect to kind of open up Bam's game offensively in those lineups?
Yeah, but it's hard like when I don't play that much. So I'm just trying, to focus to shoot a ball, to spare the floor. I got really late, so now it's important just to focus for like next game. And I think like my let's say playmaking ability can also help other players because I can put the ball on the floor. But for now, I just need to space the floor for those guys, and having Goran and Jimmy attack the basket and Bam rolling. I think that's I can help. Like I said, we're down 3-0. We still need to believe. It is hard, but the best. It's a big challenge for everybody. Like I said, we can't lose anything. We just need to get that one game.
All right, Belly, that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nemanja Bjelica talking about what could happen in Game 4 of this series. So let's go now and listen to Goran Dragic and what he said right after that big loss against the Milwaukee Bucks on Game 3. Goran Dragic coming up now.
Hey, Goran. We spoke to you yesterday about kind of the challenge Milwaukee presents at the rim, with Brook and Giannis and their length, and them able to do it without fouling. What was that the main issue tonight as far as kind of why the offense couldn't get into rhythm? What would you attribute to the offensive issues tonight?
Of course they have to do something with it. We cannot just say that can get any shot that we want. But tonight we did get some open shots, especially from three. My shot didn't drop in, and they we were in the slump from the beginning of the game, couldn't make a shot. But through the game, it was a low scoring night from them too. But for us, of course, even worse. So.
The first game was close in this series. The past two have obviously been, lopsided losses. What surprised you most about these last two games and kind of how they've gone for you guys?
Basically, it's the same. It's the same. They didn't change defense at all. They didn't change approach. They're still aggressive. They still pick up full court and, making us to take those mid-range shots or floaters. And, Lopez is doing a great job, getting inside the paint and challenge everything. So it's you have to have a combination, to making those floaters, mid-range and threes. And, if you look back all three games, the first game we were making threes, we didn't make no paint shots. And the last two games, was everything missing, threes, mid-range. And yeah, right now we just need to figure out how to, make those shots.
Thank you, Goran.
Next, we go to Barry Jackson.
Hi, Goran. How much better you think this Bucks team is than the one you faced, obviously 7, 8 months ago? Not only with Holiday, but Forbes and Portis and Tucker and all other pickups.
I mean, a lot better if you look, they're up 3-0, so that says everything.
Next, we go to Cooper Moorhead.
Goran, aside from their obvious interior length, how much is their ball pressure just disrupting the timing of the offense as far as the actions you guys want to flow into?
Yeah, everything. They're aggressive. They pressure the ball. They bully in the screen, and most of the screens they go under. So, like I said, if you're making those shots, it's good. If you don't make those shots, then you play against the better situation most of the time, and that's why we need to figure out how to get inside the paint and try to make those shots. And like I said before, the last 3 games, you have to have a complete game. Making shots from outside, inside, and move the ball. I feel like it's our rhythm is off. It's way off. We lose the confidence, but we still got 1 game left, so no surrender.
Thank you.
Next, we go to Yanni Torres with Tab Deportes Puerto Rico.
Hi, Goran. What are the key aspects that you can take away from this game?
It's tough to say. I mean, we lose by 30, so in the some moments of the game we defend well, but like I said, it has to be on the both sides of the floor. You have to defend well, have a ball movement, making shots. So they're tough. They're long. They have long players who are long and making shots tough on us, and we just need to move the ball maybe better in the next game.
Next, we go to Andres Torres with Cultural Sports Puerto Rico.
Thank you, Goran. If there's something that we learned last season about you guys, is that the biggest mistake we can make is to count you out. Nonetheless, the series is looking pretty grim. What is your message to the 17,000 fans and everybody else who still believes that you guys have a chance in the series?
They still need to win 1 game, so we're not going to surrender. That's not our mentality. Tomorrow we're going to come in and try to find the solutions and give everything what we got, so that that doesn't happen. And I think so. We have players who cares. It's not like that we don't want to win games. We care. Everybody cares, and I think so. That's a good character of the players. So we just need to be more focused, be more physical, and try to put a good game together.
All right, G, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that was Goran Dragic talking about what went on Game 3 of this series. The game's about to start. Thank you to all of you for joining us here on the pregame show and the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our channel. We are an NBA channel mostly, and mostly focused on the Miami Heat, but also trying to grow into the NBA coverage. And we also cover, of course, MLS, MLB, NFL, and all the major and important leagues, NHL as well. Focus more on the Miami Heat and Miami teams, but also trying to broaden our areas of coverage as we go. And thank you for your help. Thank you to all of you that are sending your super chats and helping out by subscribing, by giving a comment, by leaving a thumbs up. And thank you very much for joining our pregame show. So what we're going to do now, we're going to leave you guys with the live score of this game. Here we go. We're going to, of course, this game is supposed to start at 1:30, but we know how they go, how they do it here and with the television schedule and all that. So the game hasn't started yet, but we're going to leave you the live score here as we get ready to enjoy the game as well. And we will be checking your messages and also commenting on here. So you're welcome to stay, to hang around, to share what you think about what's going on right now during the game. So thank you very much. My name is Alejandro Villegas, and thank you very much for being with us today on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel pregame show for this game 4 of the series between the Miami Heat and the Milwaukee Bucks. Will the Heat extend this season? Yes, this series and this season. We'll see here in a bit. So thank you very much, and we'll be back soon during the game and also for the post game in the post up hosted by Royal Shepherd. Have a good one. Enjoy the game.